For millions of women in poverty, the idea of going overseas, working abroad, and then sending money, remittances, back home, it's a dream which is hard to resist. All too often, the migration overseas doesn't provide the remittances promised, and instead results in entrapment, misery, and it's what, frankly, we can call modern-day slavery. And now, the International Labour Organization has launched a $50 million program to tackle help and vulnerable women and girls in Asia and the Middle East. Join me over in the library and you'll see what I'm talking about. Human trafficking. The ILO estimates 246 million children are exploited worldwide. Look at that number, 246 million. That's more than the population of Indonesia. They often fall into prostitution, illegal drug use, and other forms of exploitation. And even then, forced labour conditions are horrific. Research from the UAE suggests domestic workers average work 15 hours a day. Withholding wages is commonplace. In Lebanon, many domestic workers aren't paid at all for the first 3 months. So it doesn't have to be only the major issues of prostitution and drug abuse. It's also just straightforward modern-day slavery. The ILO says $12 billion is withheld from workers in South Asia and the Middle East every year, and that money should be invested into lifting people out of poverty. No wonder we're taking an interest in it here. Jim Bolden, as part of our Freedom Project coverage, now looks for the solution.
Every year, millions of women must leave their loved ones.
The tears of those leaving and those left behind in order to find work. Migrant workers, mainly women, use agencies to find jobs in other countries. But sometimes migrant workers become forced laborers. Campaigners say it can be stopped by giving women more power.
Educate them, inform them, empower them. Think of this. We estimate that of these millions of forced workers around the world, they're losing collectively income of $21 billion.
A new project called Work in Freedom. It hopes to give women from Bangladesh, India, and Nepal training before they leave home on how to obtain legal documents and get proper wages. It's not about stopping migrant labor. That's a key source of income for families in South Asia. But work in freedom means freedom from servitude, freedom to keep pay and documents, freedom to go home. The UK government has pledged nearly $15 million over the next 5 years to support work in freedom, in partnership with the International Labour Organization.
There haven't been many programs like this that actually seek to find out how you might prevent trafficking and forced labour in the long term. This program will benefit 100,000 women.
A key problem area, those recruiting the women.
Better regulation of the recruitment industry will be vital to weed out illegal practices and extortionate fees charged to migrant women.
But how women end up in forced labor can be complex, say those fighting it.
There are some where the family themselves sells them as labor. Then you have agents from families who promise them a better life and take them, and then they land into a mess elsewhere.
Another dilemma, women afraid to tell the truth.
Now, the problem is that when migrants come back, they never tell you how difficult it was there, because they're supposed to have brought money back to their families. So very few of them really tell the difficult stories they face abroad.
Another way activists say to fight trafficking is to make sure girls up to 16 stay in school and do not become illegal migrants. Education, support, and advice. A start to brain of forced labor. Jim Bolden, CNN, London.
Now, if you want to know more about this issue, you can read an exclusive opinion piece from the head of the ILO, Guy Ryder. It's on our website, cnn.com/freedom. And there you'll find much more information on how you can get involved. It is our CNN continuing fight in the battle against modern-day slavery. Now,